Welcome back, my lovelies. Let us continue. Luke receives, and protests for 10 minutes, moderate sanity damage for being stroked by inquisitive monks from ancient Mesopotamia. The game is very, very successful, and runs for several sessions. We eventually find the party and Luke's new character, the last having been dispatched by a giant spider demon god with a leg span the size of a cathedral because he annoyed Nardia enough, being chased by a demonic bloodhound of enormous size and ferocity. They're cornered in a house. The dog is inside. The party splits up, with Luke following another that guy, as the rest of the party escape through the back door. Okay. You two are still in the house, which is shaking. The light outside is fading, and you can hear the growling and sniffing of the dog as it searches for you. What do? I take a long drink from my hip flask, and then go to the toilet. I'm gonna follow him. Why? I want to see if there's a katana in there. Huge fucking grin. A weaker member of the group has to leave the room. At this point, Nardia is visibly facepalming. Okay. You both go to the, toilet. There's no katana. What do? I take a long drink from my hip flask, and then I use the toilet. I'll watch and wait. God, what? Fine. Small time passes. The beast is getting really close now. I take a long drink from my hip flask and look for a way out. Okay, there's a fire escape not far from you. You can get down that if you can break the door down. I flush the toilet and go after him. Luke is obviously enjoying himself at this point. The other guy rolls a strength check and actually does pretty well. He gets it open in 2 attempts. The dog, however, is very, very close and gaining ground. Nardia is annoyed by both of them at this point. Okay. So you're racing down the stairs. You can feel the breath of the dog behind you. It is right there. It is that fucking close. What do? I take a long drink from my... Its jaws clamp around your neck and you're dead before you get the chance. Why did you do something that's stupid? You're fucking dead, alright? Luke, go! Alright, I keep running. Good choice. The dog seems to be busy with the other guy's remains, so you can get away. You remember the legend that says that the dog can only kill one being per night, so you're probably safe, for now. What do? I'm gonna use my mobile phone to call the police. Okay, what do you want to say? I say that I was just passing by the house when I saw the brutally maimed dead body on the stairwell. What? Really? Yeah, and I'll say that has nothing to do with me. Alright, so the operator asked you to wait there while the police... No, I hang up and run away. You do know that they'll trace your phone, right? No, they can't do that. The technology don't exist. Yeah, it does. No, it doesn't. My dad worked with the police on the murder cases. They can't trace the mobile phones. The other Luke sufferer, Cirque, turns his laptop screen around to an entry on mobile phone tracking techniques used by the police. Yeah, well, mine is untraceable. Right. The police pick you up within the hour and bundle you into a car. No, they don't. It's untraceable. Yeah, it's not. Fine. I get my gun out and shoot at them. Needless to say, he died a bullet-filled death as he got shot by trained police officers. He sulked for a while, and then went to play loud Linkin Park. It's 4 a.m. at this point, so we get an angry visit from one of the neighbors. Still, he didn't bother to re-roll, which was a good thing. With only one that guy in game, things are a lot smoother. At least until the competent and awake party members got abducted. That's another story, though. Come to think of it, that's about the time that Luke started whooping in his sleep. A high-pitched whooping cough that may have been a sleep defect, but it was more probably the sound of him cracking one off to Dizzy from Guilty Gear, covered in shit. Yeah, that revelation caused some IRL sanity loss. But again, another story for another case study. And we're playing the game we had to stat ourselves, something that rarely ends well. But this time it went fairly well. We got a few little bonuses that didn't really deserve. In my case, explosives, because I happened to have read the Anarchist Cookbook once and had a reputation for setting things on fire when I was bored. In Luke's case, he rolled something with an impossibly high, fellowshipy, charismatic type score. Oh, and a fucking katana. All kinds of crazy martial arts skills, because he was a black belt in 3 martial arts and had a belt above that and katana under his bed at all fucking times or whatever. He also had a knowledge in science, because he's a chemist, which somehow, because of his inability to even tangentially obey the rules, gave him a +2 to synergy, a bonus to jump. This also reminds me of the one time we started trolling him in character in another game, and convinced him that his character, through judicious applications of illusion magic, that he was the chosen one of the Dragon God, and ended up getting him to lead a suicidal charge on stuff. It's actually seeing the Lego Robot comic recently that brought all that back to me. Made us all wonder whatever happened to him. But yeah. Oh, and as for the porn thing, shitting dick nipples. Yeah, that was his thing. I wish I was making that up. Luke was mostly unavoidable. In first year, he was in the same halls as the rest of the group. Second year, everyone in those halls split into 2 houses, except the other Luke sufferer who moved in with the third group. Sadly, this included Luke because he pulled an almighty shit fit when he was told where to go. He ended up paying twice as much as rent as the rest of them, so they all had to pay less, which they thought waived it. Third year, Nadra moved out of the house for a work placement, and Tolls took over the contract. Aside from Luke, this was a damn good house, and the rent drop was pretty substantial. Luke almost pulled another shit fit, however, when he came back to discover Tolls had taken over the second biggest room. Ended up forcing the other Luke sufferer, who's about 6'8", and built to match, into a room that was approximately the size of a double bed, or he'd default in the contract and leave us in shit with the landlord. He'd also threatened to sue said landlord unless something was done about it. Luke was also in the same chemistry course as one of us, and thus followed him home, as well as attending all the same societies and social functions that the rest of us did. There really wasn't much we could do to avoid him. The way we eventually got rid of him, as awful as it sounds, was just being rude enough to him till he got the point, and didn't ask him to join us in the house we moved into, even though we were, and made it very clear that we were, desperately looking for our last housemate to fill in. This ends the first thread. There is a second, and we will begin the second thread in the next episode. Thank you all for watching. If you're enjoying this and would like to send in your own stories, you can do that by going to r/Moonhorse Stories and sending it there. And if you'd like to keep the lights on in this place so we can keep reading stuff like this and other things, you can do that by donating to Patreon or by buying stuff from the merch shop. Or you can do both. I mean, it's really up to you. Either way, the links to all that and more are down in the description below. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, goodbye!